Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'll do a little brief bio on me because I'm a noob. We do have a little PowerPoint for you, but I'll wait until Imoto is done handing out some tickets, and it's always nice to do this in pairs. So, anyways, my name is Geoff. It's spelled a little differently. I have an O in it, it's silent. But yeah, so I am from the Vancouver area. If you're familiar with Canada, I'm about 2.5 hours north. And I was invited here to speak about this from Marco and Imoto. And I was this still doesn't feel real. So anyways, I'm very humbled and honored to be here to talk about my little journey and the fact that I've only been tinkering in these for maybe about 22 months. And I got my first pinball machine about almost 4 years ago. Ninja Turtles Premium, I know. It was really hard.
It's a great game.
It is fantastic. We loved it. We didn't know what we were doing on it.
We're gonna migrate over here.
We didn't know what we were doing on it for about a year.
See. How about that? Yeah.
But then fast forward to actually wanting to learn about these machines. So I went onto the internet. I found a guy named Jack Danger. Had no idea anything that was going on. And I watched him annihilate Ninja Turtles in about 20 minutes. So I knew that I was doing something wrong. And I started to learn how to play. And I came here for the first time 2 years ago to specifically see Jack Danger because he basically taught me how to play. And yeah, I like Jack. Jack's about 2 inches taller than me. And so he's got some height on me. But he's a great designer. And I'm just honored to be here because I was watching him back row. And now I'm up here talking, so this is really cool.
Yeah, well, we're so glad to have you on here. When you were telling me you were getting into pinball restoration, we were super excited to help you out. Hello, everyone. I'm Imoto with Marco Pinball. We sell pinball parts for every era there is. Our whole goal is to keep pinball out of the landfills. So we do new games and stuff like that. Usually you see us setting up with a Stern booth. This year, we are collaborating with Fast Pinball and Pin DevCon, so we have 12 homebrew and custom pinball machines here. So that might be your next journey, Geoff, into making your own pinball machine, because that's super fun to do as well. But the restoration type stuff, we're always super excited to help and support people that are, making a game that someone would have taken and thrown in the trash even. And you just saved this beautiful Totan, and now it looks maybe even better than when it was new in box 30-something years ago. So
yeah, and it definitely plays like a new in box. I'm going to toot my own horn here. I love it. So, who here is a noob like me? Well, okay.
Yay!
So let's define noob here. Who here has a pinball machine at home? Okay, so we got a lot.
Nice.
We got a lot of owners. Great. Who here works on their pinball machines and tinkers? Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So we don't have a lot of reluctance here to dive in. And I know that's very intimidating at the first. When you flip that up, it's a lot. But we're humans. We can learn stuff, and it's not that difficult. So, who here has a pinball machine?
Yep. Well, who has done restoration on their game? Awesome. What game did you restore?
Star Wars Trilogy.
A Star Wars trilogy? Oh.
Marco, first place you got.
Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
Do you answer the phone? Your voice look familiar.
Oh, man. I do a lot of the video content, and we live stream pinball repair and everything. But no, you probably were talking to Ashley or Audrey over there. And yeah, a passionate group of pinball folks. So we appreciate that. Yeah. Very cool. So do you want to start your slideshow and kind of
let's
get into Geoff's journey into pinball restoration? He wanted to start with I
found that there was
description.
There was a second one. I didn't like the second term on the bottom. But this is cool. A noob is an unskilled beginner who doesn't know what they're doing. It's true. And I still don't know what I'm doing. But as you can see, when you dive into it, the hole gets deeper as you go down. So there's so many things to learn. And there's a lot of things to research before you pick a title to do this. Why Tales of the Arabian Nights? I researched it. When I entered the pinball world, I was kind of a quiet observer. I went into the forums, I watched, I listened, I read, people discussed stuff, I researched it. This machine, apparently, is a holy grail for people. And I wanted to do a full resto on something that was nice, and you don't find this out in the wild to play very often. So they should be played. So I wanted to do something on something that people that just don't get a chance to play anymore. But for the research part, when you decide you want to restore something, you need to know if the parts are available. So there's a number of suppliers you can look at. I personally go through Marco. Marco has a lot of stuff for a lot of Stern, Williams, everything. And but there's stuff out there. You just have to look and ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions, even if it's a dumb question. There's no dumb questions, it's just bizarre behaviors.
Yeah.
So.
When I buy a lot of games too. No correlation to working with Marco Pinball, but it's nice to have pinball parts at your fingertips. But when I'm like at a place like this, as I'm looking at like, do I want to buy this game? You know, maybe a project game. The first thing is like, I go on our website and I type in the game name and see how many parts we actually have available, and that kind of helps judge like, okay, what level am I getting myself into? If you find a super rare game and there aren't a whole lot of parts available for it, it'll make your journey a little bit harder. So with something like Tales of the Arabian Nights, you know, they use a lot of common parts you find over many eras of Bally Williams games. So the cool thing too with like Tales, y'all all probably know, if you see a fully restored Tales somewhere that's flipping nice and looks beautiful, you're looking at like what, 9,000-10,000. I've seen even up to like $16,000 for this game. That's a hefty price, but you can find one for maybe, I don't know how much you found this or if you want to say, but probably like a couple $1,000s if it's super beat up and the play field's all worn out and scratched up. And then now you have something that's a little bit easier for your bank, and then it's a nice project as you build onto it to upgrade it to something where, like, you know, if you did decide to sell this baby, you'd probably be seeing some money back, you know?
Yeah, you're very true. I have sunk a lot of money into this.
It's beautiful, you can tell.
But you know what? It was thought out. It wasn't just a rash decision, but you don't see them come up, and this was it was kind of a project that came up. So when you're new and you're looking at a game, you probably don't know what you're looking for. I just wanted to make sure that the boards were solid. Like, and if you're unfamiliar with pinball machines, behind this, there's circuit boards in here. And if those don't work right, you're gonna have a lot of headaches. So I wanted to make sure that the boards were sound, and then I didn't really care about the playfield because this is my area to play. I love playfield stuff. I love mechanics, toys, things that move, and why they work the way they do. So it was calculated, put a bit of money into it, but it's all for yourself. The satisfaction I got, and these are little wins that you can only experience, and then you get to come to a wonderful place like this, and you get to share this, and people aren't looking at you like, pinball all the time, eh?
So you have some pictures to show your starting progress too, right? Like the before and after.
Okay, so we're still on time here. So this is just the generic stuff. I pulled this off of Pinside. If you're unfamiliar with Pinside, it's a great resource for info on pinball machines. 3 ramps is debatable. I've read that people think it's 1 ramp, but it's actually 1 entry branches into 3. So little shout out to the brains behind the build, the design team from 1996. I personally haven't met any of these gentlemen, but wow, just and I just assume that this is what they look like when they build machines. So So this is my third one in 2 years. My first one was fishtails. Second one was high speed. I stuck with the Ritchie brothers on my first two. And then I wanted to do a good one because I felt like 2 was plenty of experience to dive into something like this. And I've also shopped and tinkered with a number. So we'll just go through some brief videos. There is music on these, Chase. Will it come through? Do you know?
We'll just sing.
No? Okay.
It's fine.
Okay, so this is just the cabinet. So these are Radcal decals. Sorry, I'm Canadian.
Decals. I love it.
It's pronounced decals.
What's a decal?
Everybody, decals. Eh? Oh, I did something wrong here. Oh.
So you got a cabinet. I'm gonna walk over here and look real quick.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, okay.
It's very quick. We can do it again if you miss it, but.
Okay, so this is you preparing this awesome. I definitely want you to talk about this Mirko siding because I am totally in love with this plexiglass artwork. You know, so usually it would be like decals that you put on the side.
Decals,
It's
yes.
hard to do, right? You're like squeegeeing it with glass and or cleaner and trying to make sure there's no bubbles on those. Obviously, the older games you're doing stencils and stuff, which takes a huge level of skill too. I imagine this takes a level of skill, but in my head it seems easier, and the results are just super shiny and beautiful. From far away, I mean, even up close, it almost looks like it's a butter cab, you know?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about this process, because that's super cool, and you don't see that all the time.
No, and they're probably about twice the price as regular decals.
That was hard for him.
If my dad's watching,
Just
he's
say
going to be like,
decals.
"We didn't put
We all got
decals
learned.
on your Lego at Christmas." But so yes, they're a little more expensive, a lot easier to put on than the decals. You still have to prep your cabinet. The important thing is edges, where it meets up, because it may show. This is a dark pattern, so you're not going to get a lot coming through the artwork. Doesn't need to be sanded down to 1000 grit or anything. It goes on just like a piece of plexiglass once it's all prepped. It does not come with holes drilled though. You have to Dremel. Best tool, just Dremel them out. Make a hole, flipper buttons, and you Dremel them out very carefully, kind of like sanding them. I'm sorry? Yeah, so when it's applied,
that's a good
there's
question.
no...
He asked if you apply it first, then drill the holes in the
Yes.
plexi. Because
Yeah.
plexi, we all know, can crack very easily. So how did you do this without cracking this beautiful, expensive plexiglass?
So you don't do it from the outside because you can't see where the hole is. So you would go into the inside and you will see where your flipper button hole is. And then you just take a very small drill bit, probably 1/8 of an inch, something small, slowly, and because it's plexi, it starts to melt and just pops through.
Don't put any tape or anything on the outside to avoid sensor.
No, I was pretty confident. I had a steady hand, steady.
Nice and easy.
And then you get your Dremel in there and just slowly until you start touching wood. That sounds bad, but you do touch wood. And and you have to do it with every single bolt. So you do have about 4 around your coin door. Legs are fine because they're actually made so that there's no artwork behind the legs. And then you have a bunch of head bolts and side bolts. They all have to be Dremeled out. So I would say that the cabinet work is probably the time where you need to be the most patient. The playfield, you can correct stuff very easily if you put something in wrong. You have one shot with these. So it's a very expensive mistake. I don't think I made a mistake on it.
Looks great.
But thank you. But decals are a little more difficult because You have to have it sanded. You will see a grain of sand behind it. And I haven't done decals. I've painted a full cabinet, and honestly, I will not do that again. Some people have that skill. I am not a painter, but that's a very...
Color matching is a big thing too. And I see here that a lot of people will take the original playfield and then just do some touch-up paint, color matching onto it. You went full new playfield on it.
Yeah, so the previous playfield that was in it wasn't horrible.
If I could get my camera.
The previous playfield wasn't horrible, but when you're going to restore something like a Toten or a Theater of Magic or Indiana Jones, you kind of want it to be perfect. So, sorry, I don't know where to go here. Sorry, I'm just tying up Imoto here. Oh yeah, so where was I? I just forgot. Where was I?
About the playfield.
Oh, right.
Color matching.
Color matching, yes. So that is where I started asking questions. And I reached out to people that are in the pinball community that have done this. And yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to these guys, but another Geoff, a Geoff Miller down in Florida, the Pinball Pimp. He helped me when I did my cabinet stencils. Color matching, he even helped me out trying to figure out how to get these side rails off. And it's great. They're so accessible, these people. And even the designers behind these. I mean, you could be on a forum asking a question, and the next thing you know, Mr. George Gomez is answering your question. So how cool is that? So people are accessible. People want to help. People want to help you succeed. Wow. That's pretty cool. No, that's pretty cool. We do have a couple. Oh, next video?
Yeah, let's see your next one.
How do we go back? Chase, can we swap feeds here? Sibilance. All right. Okay, so the one on the left here is a sped up version. Well, you can watch it. I'll explain after. So this is the bottom side. All the mechs, all the wiring goes on. It is a lot of work.
How many hours did you spend doing the playfield swap?
On this one, actually, this only took me about a week for the playfield. The cabinet took about 2, just because if you've ever stripped everything out of a cabinet, it doesn't look like a lot, but it's a lot. And there's a lot of screws, and take photos, take tons of photos.
Take photos. Yes, best advice ever.
And plan it. Don't just start, oh, this is exciting, I want to take it all apart. Work in quadrants. I always found that start at the highest point, and then you'll look at how it should come apart and figure it. You should be able to figure out how it kind of would come out, but just quadrant. And I've started to do quarters, and so everything that comes off in the top right corner will go in like a cup or an area, and a piece of tape. I have to write notes or I'll forget where everything is. I lose tools all the time. And then you might not know where the bolt goes, but you know it goes somewhere in here. And yeah, it's
Process
fun.
of elimination.
It's so fun. This is my happy place. And we'll go to the next one. This is the playfield. So I don't know the exact hours, but all of this filming was about 90 gigs. And I was planning to have a full video for here, but we'll put that out later.
Yeah, totally. This is great. And his game's resting on a pintisserie, and basically this allows you to have this kind of free movement to rotate and pivot your game around. If y'all are not using this, then
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
you should get one.
You know what?
Like, I don't see how you would.
What-
You shouldn't be doing a research.
what-
Yeah, this is a life changer to have that pintisserie tool.
Yeah, whatever works for you is great. But I have seen, and kudos to the people that do playfield swaps on blankets and tables.
Yeah.
It's challenging. I like the work smarter, not harder sort of thing. Tools are expensive, but in the last 2 years, I've learned that there are some tools that will really help you along when you're tinkering, not restoring, but just tinkering away. So let's see what we got here.
Yeah, what'd you get next on your slideshow?
Okay, yeah, this is funny. This was at a request of my lovely wife, who will be joining us later tonight. She wanted me to show this because she thinks this is hilarious. This was Fishtails, my second power-up attempt. Now, this thing was found in North Carolina in a container that had sat for 10 years with the roof rusted out. So there was water dripping on it, and there was a lot of rust. Yeah, I got an infection. I had tetanus.
Oh my God.
It was so worth it. My finger looked like a sausage.
The things we do for pinball. Yeah.
It's so fun. I fought through it. So anyways, there's no sound, but I'll
It's
try.
all about the visuals.
I know what I
I'll
say,
do the
so I'll
Foley.
mouth it. I'll say what I'm saying here. Hold on a second. And then, okay.
All right, yeah, you be your voice. I'll be the sounds.
1, 2, 3. Sparks, not good.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, I was laughing. My wife was standing over here with her hands over her mouth,
Oh no.
and she's like, "Unplug it," and I'm like, "It's off." She's like, "Unplug it." So we were safe. Anyways,
So, yeah, walk us through what happened, why it happened, and what you did to fix it.
so I had no idea about boards. I didn't. I was just trusting that, maybe the boards were fine. 2 of them weren't. But
Laughing from the audience.
because of the sparks and the potential fire hazard, Mr. Chris Hibbler, who is a very respected board repair,
Yeah, board repair. Very legendary.
brilliant guy. He reached out to me because he knew exactly what capacitor blew on that. And so a capacitor is just a little, it would look like a little grain of rice, and it helps push power. We won't get into technical, I don't really understand it, but I'm learning, I'm a noob. He said, that's capacitor 47, or he knew it. And he goes, that always goes. Can I share your video? I've never seen one go. And anyways, so I was like, oh yeah. And then I ended up sending my board to him because I didn't know what I was doing. And he fixed it, and it was great. But yeah, so I did have to drop a bit of money to get another, I think the CPU, the main computer for the pinball was toast. I sent it to Mr. Hibbler as well, and he just says, yeah, that's toast. And I said, keep it, part it out, it's yours, man. But yeah, so that was really cool meeting him, and I've messaged him for like, hey, can I use this part in place of this? And it's really cool community. Everyone's very helpful and supportive, so.
Yeah. And a lot of times you can fix the boards, or there are very good technicians out there that can take your board, even with like the worst battery damage ever. You can send it to them and they can do wonders. There are reproduction boards, like the Alltech, which does a lot of like the Bally Williams, Stern classic games. And then like lines of Pintech boards. There's other aftermarket boards that you can use. But never throw away your original board, because they're original, and you might have a piece on there that you will need, like a capacitor or transistor, resistor or something. So when you are doing a restoration, like put those boards in a nice box, label it, and have it to the side, because it might come in handy later on too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if Mr. Hibbler can use it, great.
Yeah, and if you are not going to be working on your boards, but you want someone to help you through that journey, like I said, there's a lot of great techs all around the country, around the world even, that specialize in board repair work. A lot of them are on our PinTech database. So if you go to our website on marcopinball.com, you can see Find a Technician. And it's a completely free service where techs put their information on there. It's like a giant Rolodex. So you look up your state or country and city, and then most likely you'll find someone nearby that can really help you through the next step of your project. Super cool.
Yeah, it is. And you know what? That wasn't something I planned on doing. I was like, I'm not doing board work. I'm not. But as you progress, you level up, and where do you go? It's like, well, I'm not going to keep sending boards away. So, and you know what? I love soldering. I've never done it, and it is an art. And I don't know, it's just really cool. You're playing with liquid metal. It's like the T1000, right? Like liquid metal. It's very cool, very cool. I love soldering. I did board repair on this, but we're not gonna go into that because this is a noob's journey. I'm not gonna, I don't even know how this took it in. Like, my wife's still blown away. She's like, what, who are you? But so should we just jump into?
Yeah, is that the end of your slideshow?
Well, the last slide is kind of like what's next for me. Not that anyone cares, but.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, man. Oh.
Yeah, let me get the camera over here.
Give me a hug.
Jump rope.
Come give me a hug.
Jump rope.
Okay. All right. Oh, so before we dive into stuff, what I have learned, I'm going to share with you on stuff that I have picked up in the last 2 years, because Fishtails was done with almost just a screwdriver. And yeah, there was my forearms were like Popeye. So just a couple tools that I use all the time. You need to get yourself a power driver. Now, it doesn't matter what it is. I really like this. They're not paying me anything, but Makita, great. It's like a little pistol, and this attachment is a Ryobi flexi driver tube. So I'll demo it later, but yeah, so for getting at stuff on the playfield, this is so handy. You can get in, you can.
Magnetic?
Well, no, so you would need to get magnetic bits. That's the next thing. But yeah, you need to get a driver. I like this one because you can operate it with your pinky. And you know, you have to be very careful when you're using these on playfields. And plastics, specifically plastics. But I do like this because you can loosely hold it. And then when it snugs up, if you don't have a tight grip, the handle will just start spinning, and that's when you know to let go of the button. It's just one of those things that you learn from using tools, and I've never broken a plastic or stripped anything into wood with this. So just be careful if you're going to use a power driver. But great tool. I think it was, and I think I learned about this from watching Carrie Hardy. Another pinball personality. Really cool videos. My next thing, this is really nerdy, but see this thing here? This is a magnet wristband. Amazon, like $10. You can just put everything you take off onto your wrist, and you don't lose it, because when you get over 40, you'd never remember where you put things.
It's on your wrist, Jeff.
I know. Oh, and just, are there any operators here? Does anyone we got operator in the back. Okay, welcome, my friend. Anyways, I'm going to show you why people do not like Canadian quarters.
He said we don't like those.
Well, number one, they're only worth about 17 cents down here. Oh, you young man, can you come up here and hold the mic for me? So as you can see, my magnet band, the quarter from the United States of America will just, but, yeah, look at that. Real Canadian caribou. So these things get stuck in your coin mechs. People try and get a game for 17 cents down here. Yeah, we're cheap. But yeah, it's annoying. But I just wanted, I think it's funny because people are like, I hate your quarters. And I'm like, I love them. I grew up getting caribous from my mom. And shall we?
I really didn't realize that's why Canadian quarters get stuck in pinball coin mechs.
Yeah.
Because it's magnetic.
And I don't know too much about the coin mechs because the machines that I get, they'll have either Canadian or US, and I just take them out. And yeah, if someone needs them, then I just pass them along because I'm not an operator. And yeah, so sharing, right?
Cool tip.
Let's get into what I've disassembled something just to kind of show you my favorite mechanism, toy, cool thing on this machine. And if you're not familiar with the vanishing magnet, very, very cool mechanism. And it works in, I believe, 4 stages. And I have it out here. Should we pass it around, Imoto?
Yeah, let's
Yeah?
show it on camera first and talk about it, and then we can pass it around if you're comfortable with
I need
that.
a mic clip to my shirt.
Oh, here, we have a mic holder for you. Yay, thank you.
So, this is, when you look at the playfield, you will see this magnet
Here,
pop.
you guys stand over here more, because now you're blocking the TV for these fine folk. Hope everyone on the Twitch land is doing good.
Okay.
Wish you were here. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, we miss you. So here we go. So this magnet you will see on the playfield right in front of the genie. And so when you activate this magnet, it's going to start something cool. And everybody likes a multi-ball. You will hit the genie. It'll send a signal. The magnet will lock the ball on here. The next sequence is this will drop down. This will drop down, stage 2. Stage 3, it will release, and it'll hold the coil. Stage 3 will release the ball into a subway system. And then stage 4, it goes back and resets. It's so neat. I get giddy when it happens every time. And then the ball goes into the little subway system and it pops out, and then your multi-ball starts. So very cool. I love multi-ball. I love ramps. I love upper play fields. It's just one of my coolest little mechs. So, and I'm not a big fan of pop bumpers, by the way. If you've ever installed pop bumpers, grief. Anyways, what else do we have? Oh, and so, right.
He's got a lot of cool show and tell for us. Oh, original ramp, subway.
Somewhere. I've just got to get my orientation here. I'm a little confused.
We can lift the
I didn't
game up.
sleep well last night. I was excited. Anyways, so what will happen is the ball will be released into the subway, and then it'll roll down, trigger the switch to let the computer know what's going on, and then it'll pop out, and your multi-ball will start. So when people refer to subways, basically it's a ramp sort of style underneath your playfield to magically make your ball pop up somewhere else. So very cool little system, and we're gonna install it. It's very simple. Literally, there's only about 8 screws and 5 on this, and 3 plugs. And it should work when we put it back in.
And that's a big reminder again to make sure to take pictures when you're doing any sort of install or reinstall or disassembly. Even if you have the best memory in the world, that's gonna be the one moment you don't take pictures, and then you get that phone call that just sends you off into like a different world of thinking, and then you come back to your game even a few minutes later and you're like, oh no.
Yeah, and another tip, if you're gonna start something, start it and go through it. I had a little blip and I disassembled half of it, and then it sat for 3 months. And it was all because of my pictures. I had to go back to, I think it was January 14th, to find an angle for one post But I had it. It was just be patient. So another thing for new people that I've learned, you should not overvalue your fuses. I know people want to play, something's popping, it's popping because there's a problem. And normally, it doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem on your board. If a fuse is popping, it could be something grounding out under here. But if it calls for 3 amp and you don't have a 3 amp, get them and wait. Just be patient, because you might have a 5-minute game until something heats up, and then it's gonna be grief. So you might have to drop a bit of money, you might have to learn how to solder, but yeah, so.
Mentioned slow blow too.
Oh yes, and slow blow. Did you have a question?
Yeah, do you ever use the little circuit breaker fuses so you don't have to keep
So he asked if I ever use circuit breaker fuses. I have not. You know, if
They're cool.
They're super cool.
you know what, if you're doing a lot of troubleshooting and you're having problems with fuses popping, ideally, yeah, because every time it pops, it's like $1, right? So.
Yep. Yeah. Pinball Scientist sells a bunch of different ones too that are super great. So like, yeah, as you're troubleshooting it, you put that little circuit breaker on there. That way you can figure out what is touching what that's really making it go out.
So if you get a new pin, check your fuses. I would say before you even power it up at home, and I know you'd be excited, a very important one that a lot of people overlook. So there is a fuse in your main inline that comes from your wall. So these are normally probably the highest fuse that you will have on a pinball machine. I had one that had a 20 amp ceramic in it. I'm not a huge electricity guy, but that didn't seem right. Like when it calls for a 5 amp slow blow and they put 20 amp. So they obviously didn't care. They just wanted it to play. And there was a lot of problems on it. I didn't do that one.
Yeah, I will say too, anytime you buy not a new game and before you power it on, like always check the fuses. And not just checking to see if they're blown or not, but making sure that they are the right fuse value. And the best way to do that is by looking at your manual and really going by what the manual says versus like, oh, well, this has always had a 5 amp slow blow, and maybe it was supposed to be 3 all along, and that's where your bug is happening.
Yeah, and I don't know, I don't know the rationale behind it, but just be transparent, right? Like, you could tell me every problem in a machine and I'll be like, great, look forward to tackling it. But it's when you find unexpected stuff where, it plays great. Yeah. This was really good, but it did have it had an overvalued resistor on a soundboard. So the resistor just it resists the flow of electricity into the soundboard. So it was allowing too much power in. So it would play great for about 30 minutes. So just enough time so someone can go, yeah, I like it, I'll take it. After 30 minutes, it would heat up the amplifier and your sound would be distorted and you'd have to shut it off and it would cool down. And it would play fine for 30 minutes at a time, but I didn't like it. So, and it turned out it was just not a huge mistake, but by about 200 value, I'm not gonna get into the values, ohms, yes, thank you. 200 ohms over, so now it's the normal one and it's fine. So, yeah. Don't overvalue sound.
Does this game have any fuses on the actual playfield? So a lot of times when you're looking at fuses, you're going to look at like your resistor board or something up in the head. But sometimes there'll be like a fuse, somewhere in the middle of the playfield or whatever, kind of hidden, sometimes up here by the flipper coils. So look out for those too. Just like the one Geoff showed you down at the power. And
a little bit of history on this. This is an export. This originally went to France in 1996. Ooh. And I mean, unless someone...
You did get a project.
I did.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, it actually says Vorscht, 220 volt on the box. Does anyone speak that word? I'm pretty sure it means caution because there's a little electric.
Yeah.
A bolt. Yeah. Vorscht. So Yeah, no, there's no fuses under here, but there are plenty in the back, and that is another thing I do when I get a new pin. Before I even plug it in, I like looking, and I check every fuse. So I make sure they're the right value. So when I power it on, if something pops, it's not because it's an overvalued fuse. It's because there's a problem somewhere. And yeah, we won't go into board work because, like I said, that's just I don't want to confuse anybody. It's supposed to be fun. And we got 18 minutes left, and we got some really cool giveaways. No battery issues in this. Oh, another shameless plug. The sound in here is from Pin Sound. The boy. Yeah.
The big subwoofer.
Also from France, but they didn't send me the machine. No, so I have the Pin Sound board. There's a woofer and there's 2 Pin Sound cabinet speakers. So, you're not going to enjoy the sound in there very well, but it's a great sound system, and they're really easy to get a hold of if you have problems. They've talked me through the same problem, like numerous times, and I feel like a bozo when I ask them again, but they're really good. So, yeah, and that's about it for talking about this. And
so I would say if you want to walk through reassembling the game so people can play it on the show floor when we're done with this. And in the meantime, I will pass out more raffle tickets to whoever hasn't gotten a raffle ticket yet. We pass those out at the beginning. And then do you think you could help hold this mic for you? So.
Oh, we don't have a tripod?
He is the tripod. I know.
That's fine. That's fine. You well, no, because I'll turn. Cool.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, no, we'll just put
If you didn't get a raffle ticket yet,
and so the magnet strap is not only looks really cool, but you can put all your bits and stuff for your whatever part you're putting on. It's great. Not right there. No. Should have a mic. Clipped on my shirt. I'm pretty sure Imoto gave me the bolt, but I lost it already. Get it later. What's that? Oh, it just dropped again. Using my magnet band very good because I've dropped everything that I've tried to put on already. I'm nervous. So for this mech, because it's quite a powerful mechanism here, it's bolted to posts up on the playfield. So for yeah, so it's really good on there. This is good, but with this type of mech, I like to go on there with a ratchet and just give it a little hand tighten. Not bury it home, but just make sure they're all tight by hand. We're down a couple bolts, folks. It's all good. We'll figure it out.
Which Mac is it? Oh, I'll grab this now. I can multitask. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we can just put one in.
Cool. Just don't forget to reassemble all the rest before we take it out to the floor.
Oh, yeah, it'll be good to play. So, yeah, we'll just...
Everyone will be able to play it.
Yes. So, great question. You know what? So a lot of stuff in here is kind of user-friendly. So like switches, if you wire them up backwards, they're just going to work weird, like really weird. And coils, you might find some finicky stuff, but that's why it's important to take a lot of pictures before you disassemble. Because, yeah, you'll be hunting what wire goes where. Also, another thing I would highly recommend if you're going to get into working on these, get yourself a manual to whatever machine you're working on. You might not be able to read it at first, but eventually you will learn, and it'll make more sense as you go. So, thank you.
All right, so he's sneaking in this subway. Not all games have these underneath ramps, but the ones that do, it's pretty slick. Definitely recommend getting in there and cleaning it from time to time. It'll get dusty, especially a lot of times it's these micro switches on the subway that the ball is rolling over. But if you ever have like a plastic ramp or something like this that has optos, which are RF light feeds, if they get slightly moved and having a hard time looking through the plastic, you need to clean the opto receiver and transceiver. Yeah, you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Pinball is just so magical. There's a little bit of everything for everyone, depending on what you want to get into. And restoration is not for the faint of heart, but if it's down your alley, you love tinkering, you love problem solving, you learn that it's very therapeutic. Yes, that is the word. Very therapeutic. You just get into the world, and it's just you and the game. And then when you get it working, all those little victories just really seal the deal for us. Yeah, I really like this long, bendy tool you have. Connect it to your... It's pinball. It's everything in pinball is an innuendo.
Yeah. They make good bendies.
Easy peasy.
Lemon squeezy.
So as Geoff is finishing this up, do we have any questions from the audience? And if so, there's a mic right over here that I'm looking at. I can't point. Yep, thank you for pointing. So you can walk up to the mic and ask some questions.
Oh, no, not him.
He said not him.
Not him. Not that guy.
I noticed you did label both sides of your Molex connectors so that you can mate them back up. That's good practice.
Ooh, that is a good tip.
Good eye.
And then I restored a car before I did restoration on pinball, and a habit that I picked up, and similar to yours, is as you're going, take little plastic bags, label them with what's in them, and then number them, and then have a corresponding clipboard with the numbers so that as you go 20 bags in, you know that the 19th bag is going to be the next one to put back in.
Dude, just like Lego.
Hey.
That's awesome. That is such a great tip. Yeah.
Freckles on Lego.
He said, I wish I had known that before I pulled my Jungle Lord apart.
So
Very
we're
cool.
good except for the ones we're missing.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that is a great tip. Talk about the connectors. 'Cause that is
Yeah.
super smart.
And so yeah, the connector's great segue, because I would have forgotten to mention that. Fishtails and high speed were very different than this. And this is 96, Fishtails was 92, 91, and high speed was 86. This is brilliant. Almost every coil or solenoid mechanism has a plug, like a Molex type plug. And so I write on them. And I know what the writing stands for. left sling, you know, cage right, sort of thing like that. So easy. Your flippers, though, these are the only ones that you actually had to melt some metal on, which I loved. And yeah, it's the easier your job is doing this, the better. The more well planned out you do diving into this. Fishtails was like a head over heels type of dive in. That took me 9 weeks, and this was 3 weeks total. So, and about a month. I made the topper. I'm gonna plug myself. That is 3D printed art styrofoam for the sand. You'll see it better when the playfield comes down, and I learned how to airbrush. I broke my first airbrush gun, or whatever it is. You need to clean those after every color. I learned that. Every color very quickly. So, yeah, so I'm kind of doing everything, and yeah, maybe the next. So what's next? Might be a homebrew. We'll see. I'm not gonna say what my idea is, because you know what pinball's like. They don't tell what game's coming out next, right? Right? But what's next for me? I have 2 light projects to do, and I think Imoto and I might be teaming up for one of them. Yeah. X-Files, yeah, it's not playable. It will be soon. World Cup Soccer just needs a soccer ball motor. It's pretty easy install. And
it's on the way, right?
It is, yeah. Thanks to Marco, I will have my part to go home with. And we will have a spinning soccer ball. Yay. Yay, it's such a fun game. And the same designer, John Papaduke, did this one. So he really likes magnets. There's a lot of magnets in this. There's magnets in that. And then little baby Pac-Man is gonna get a full resto in June, which is now, right now.
Yeah?
Yeah, we're gonna start it right now.
Right
No,
now?
so yeah, that, and I'm gonna try and do a playfield swap in one day. Cause look at it, it's tiny.
It's so tiny.
It's baby Pac-Man. So if you're not familiar with baby Pac-Man, it's, if you're really bad at pinball, you're not gonna get any power pellets, so you're just gonna have to fight the ghosts on your own. It's so neat. It's such a cool little hybrid. And yeah.
There's a Granny and the Gators out in the free play area too. That's similar setup as Baby Pac-Man.
Yeah, that's got
video pinball integration.
That's got the Atari vibe to it. I didn't know what I was doing. Like, what are you're supposed to shoot gators, Granny with a shotgun?
Yeah, you're like going down the river, sort of has a Frogger-esque vibe to it. Maybe your next project, you should find a Varcon. Have you seen one of those games?
Never heard
It's
of it.
also it's in a cabaret cabinet, like an arcade cabinet, a little bit bigger than Baby Pac-Man, but there's like mirrors inside of it, so you're looking inside, and the playfield's in this weird angle, but it's pinball.
Yeah.
And you're using joysticks though for the flippers. It's super rad.
Oh, we love it. We like Baby Pac-Man, and the red ghost is horrible. If you've ever played it, she, relentless, big red. Anyways, so let's give some stuff out. So, Marco's got some wonderful little prizes. Oh yeah, is there any other questions? Anything? About my personal life? Anything? No? Oh, hi, Bryce. It's Captain Bryce, everybody. And
First time caller, long time listener. All right, Geoff, what's the problem that keeps you up at 3 in the morning? Like the one that wakes you up, like the middle of the night, you can't figure out. Like what's stumped you in the restoration world or the repair?
What's the biggest thing that stumped you and keeps you up at night in your journey in restoration, Geoff?
you know, I do a lot of my troubleshooting late at night. So good question, Mr. Bryce. Funny enough, the topper, so they actually made a topper, an aftermarket topper for Toten, Tales of the Arabian Nights. And it's a sword or a saber with all 7 jewels in it. If you played the game, the object is to get 7 jewels, save the princess, da 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 da. It's an easy game. Anyone can do it. But I didn't want to have the sword, and plus you can't buy them, so So I made this, and I wanted my jewels to light up exactly how they did on the game. That took about a month and a lot of thinking, and because I don't know columns or rows, and I'm not going to get into it because I just learned it last week.
Last week.
I made a little circuit board. You can do it yourself. All you need is a bottle of really harsh chemicals, a Jiffy marker, and a copper board. And I made a lamp board similar to this one, very small though, and that powers the gems exactly like this. And I think they plan to have a topper when they produce this, because there's a port on the driver board specifically to the gems, the gem lights. My problem was I didn't know where I could draw the power from. And there's 8 pins. So I tried all of them except for the right one. And on the 6th attempt, I got it. And I made my own wire harness, which, so that kept me wondering at night, because I knew,
That is straight up homebrew 101 right there too. And later on today, starting from 3, we're going to be wiring up a play field over there too. So if you are interested in using board works and stuff like that, definitely come to PinDevCon Theater. One last question, and then we're gonna do the giveaways, and it's our time to go.
Another famous and very successful John Papadook game. It's called Magic Girl.
Magic Girl.
Do you plan to make a player?
Oh, do you plan to make a playable Magic Girl? That's a good one.
I have played one. I played it in Chicago. The artwork on it is fantastic.
When they brought it here, they just put it over there, and that was it.
Yeah, see, that's where you have to do your research. If you were missing a ramp, how do you get that ramp? Or, I mean, unless you're really good at forming plastics. So, yeah.
Little known fact, we vacuum formed the first Magic Girl ramp.
Did you? Oh. What about a Bone Buster topper dome?
Yeah.
No, yeah, you can't do that, Captain Bryce.
It's coming
Okay,
next.
it's time to do the giveaways. You have 3 things, right?
Where's my bag? Where'd my bag go?
This one right here?
No, with the prizes. Who stole the prizes?
I don't know. All right, Geoff lost his bag of prizes. We're gonna still call the numbers though.
No, I didn't lose it.
Yeah. So you guys can come over to the booth to claim your prize. But the first one is 103067. All right, with the spooky shirt. So you hang tight. 67, right? Oh, okay. All right. Because we have 3 prizes, right, Geoff?
Correct.
Correct, he said. All right, 103041.
Can you hold that? I'm just.
Anyone? 041? Oh, awesome. In the green shirt. He's running. All righty. And then one more. 103059. 059. All right, Pac-Man. So y'all hang out off to the side. We're going to break this down and roll it off. I think we have David Thiel coming up next to talk about all the sound and beautiful music in Harry Potter Pinball, Jersey Jack's newest game. So stick around for that. And afterwards is Barrels of Fun. Butch Peel and Dave Van Ness will be up here talking all about Doom.